After I placed my first song in national television, in an episode of The Young and the Restless, I initially felt as if it were only a matter of time until all my dreams of rock and roll stardom came true. I was convinced that the phone would start ringing off the hook and that offers of record contracts and tour deals would come pouring in. I'm not sure exactly why I thought that a 50-second spot on a daytime drama would lead to this sort of success, but, well, it didn't. Several months went by after my initial placement, and nothing happened. No record deals, no tour deals, no endorsement deals, no phone ringing off the hook, no more placements. Nothing. I kept in touch with my publisher during this period, and I expressed my enthusiasm and interest to get more involved with her licensing projects. She instructed me to touch base with her once a week or so to find out what projects she was working on, and that she'd let me know about anything relevant to my music. I was excited about her willingness to work with me. Finally, I had someone in the industry that would be an open door and would let me know about real projects that I'd have a real chance at getting my music placed in. Over the course of the next 10 months or so, I submitted to a lot of different projects. She pitched my music to shows like Navy NCIS, Ed, One Life to Live, the film Freaky Friday, and probably a lot more places I'm not even aware of. None of my songs, though, got picked up during this period. My initial excitement over my first placement was diminishing rapidly. Why hadn't any of my other songs been licensed? Was my first song just a fluke, I thought? Was I a one-placement wonder? Finally, in a moment of great frustration, I reached out to my publisher. What's going on, I asked. I was really excited about getting more tracks licensed, but was really starting to get discouraged at this point. What would it take to repeat my initial success? What can I do to get more tracks licensed? I inquired. Well, she said, you might want to work on improving your production. When supervisors pass on your tracks, she told me, I'm not usually told why. But she said oftentimes it's simply due to low production value. If your tracks aren't up to par production-wise, she said, they can't use your tracks. It's as simple as that. She suspected this was the problem with my tracks. You write great songs, she said, but the production is a little iffy on a lot of your tracks. The first song I licensed, I recorded with a pretty renowned producer, but the problem was I couldn't afford to spend $50 per hour to record every track that I wanted to license, which were his rates at the time, especially since I wasn't sure which tracks would actually end up being used, if they were used at all. There were no guarantees, and I couldn't afford at the time to take that kind of gamble with my money. So I ended up recording a lot of tracks with friends of mine who had pretty nice recording gear, but weren't necessarily great seasoned producers. Why don't you try to find a producer with more experience to work with you on spec, my publisher suggested. That's what I did when I was starting, she said. The way it works, she explained, is that you find somebody willing to work for no cost up front, but if you end up making money, you agree to pay them a percentage on the back end. You have a track record, she said, albeit a small one. See if you can use that to get someone to work with you. So, based on her suggestion, I put an ad in the musicians section on Craigslist in Chicago, seeking producer to collaborate on tracks for licensing projects, it read. I gave a little information about myself, provided a link to some of my music, and instructed anyone interested to email me. To my surprise, I got quite a few responses, and within about 2 weeks, I had set up recording time with a local producer interested in collaborating. We agreed to do 3 songs together initially and see what happens. The only problem was that the producer didn't have the ability to track drums in his home-based Pro Tools studio. He didn't have the space. That we would have to outsource to a separate studio. So we booked some time at a local $20 an hour studio where we tracked drums for all 3 tracks in one session. I think I paid a total of about $80 for the studio time. We took those drum tracks to the producer's house, and we finished all 3 tracks over about a 2-week period. My publisher had told me about several projects she was working on, so I had a pretty good idea of what kind of music she needed at the time. I delivered the final tracks to my publisher, and she loved them, but she said the production still needed a little tweaking. I gave her suggestions to my producer friend, he made the changes, and we sent in the final mixes a few days later. I had a really strong feeling that these songs would get picked up. I'm not sure why, but I remember having a sense of certainty that we had delivered tracks that were really solid. About 2 weeks later, my feeling would prove correct. I get a call from my publisher. All My Children is featuring your entire track, It's All Good, she said. They rarely play the entire song, she said, but they're playing the whole thing and are featuring it very prominently. I was stoked. My producer and I DVR'd the spot. When I watched it, I remembered how great it felt to see my music in action, so to speak. The next couple days, they played even more snippets of the track. We made a total of about $2,500 from that one song alone, and about a month later, another one of the songs we recorded got placed. 2 of the 3 songs we recorded together got placed, and we made close to $4,000 from our recording sessions. I was back, and I remembered what I knew all along. Don't ever give up. There's always a way to succeed and achieve your goals. Sometimes it just takes a little detective work to figure out what's holding you back. Here's the second track I placed, It's All Good. I played all the guitars and bass, and my friend Marshall sang vocals on this one.
My life is turning out just like a fairy tale. At least that's how I feel when